Hey friends, welcome back to another video. My name is Lefebvre and I have been influenced. I have a million brushes and I found some that kept popping up on my Instagram and Facebook that I didn't have, and I was influenced to buy them and try them out. So today, that's what we're doing. Let's jump in and get started. Okay friends, well, I have officially been influenced to buy brushes that I definitely did not need, but I had to try. So I have been seeing these, I think it's pronounced Fuumuui, watercolor brushes everywhere. I've seen them on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook, and they keep popping up probably because they know that I have an addiction, but also they just seem to be really popular right now, and I had to try it. Especially this needle point tip brush. I had never seen this shape before, and as someone who works with Craftimo and is always looking for different brush sizes and shapes to play with and develop, I definitely had to give these a try. So I purchased them off Amazon, and today we're going to test them out. So I have opened them and got rid of the packaging and the glue that comes on the tip of the bristles just so we can jump into using them. If you don't know this, when brushes come in a package, they tend to be really hard and stiff. You need to just rinse them thoroughly with water to get rid of that glue. It just keeps them proper and pointed during transportation. There's nothing wrong with them, but make sure that you get rid of them or get rid of the glue thoroughly. The bigger one, I found it took a little bit more effort to do that, so just keep that in mind. And these are the brushes. So it doesn't say what kind of hair they are. I'm assuming by the price they are synthetic, but they do appear to look more like that synthetic kind of like squirrel hair. They don't look like a Taklon kind of synthetic brush like mine. So they look like they also hold a lot of water. Now, this unique shape is what intrigued me. So it looks like kind of like a traditional round brush, right? Tip, but with an extended tip. And what I think that does is it acts kind of like a liner brush. So a liner brush meaning one of these, long liner or rigger brushes where if you want to do long kind of drawn out lines, so here's my liner brush, you can do it with a liner, right? You get a nice small tip. However, because the bristles are small and there's only a few of them, the paint and water runs out really fast. Now, what this looks like is that this behaves kind of like a liner, but has this large brush base to kind of act as like a paint and water reservoir. So you can create longer lines without having to dip your brush in your paint and your water as often. So I kind of wanted to test that out. Let's test it with the smallest one just because it's the closest in size. But I think that is the point of this shape. But we're also going to play around and see what else it can do. So I'm going to load it up with paint and water, and we're going to see how long it takes to run out of paint. Look how tiny that tip is, though. Still going. Okay, you can't see where I'm going. Hold on. Nope, even further up, Emma. Okay, it's starting to run out a little bit. Not really, actually. Like, look how long the stroke lasts because of that base. Like, you wouldn't have to keep dipping your brush in over and over and over again, which is crazy. So that is a really cool benefit of these brushes. You can get these long, thin lines without having to re-dip your brush over and over and over again. But I'm also curious about what shapes you can make with this brush, because other than just really long lines where you don't have to dip your brush in, like what else can they do? So we're going to play. And anytime I get a new brush, I love to just play around and see what they can do. So I typically will just saturate it with paint, and I'll just start making marks. So I do like light, heavy, light, heavy. I tend to curve it like this, curve it that way, maybe do like a little a little up and down kind of wave just to see. Ooh, you could get a pretty cool leaf shape like that to see what it does. And this is how I get to know any new supply that I have, whether it's paint colors, brushes. I just play around and see what it does before I start painting. You have to get to know your supplies, because even if you're following a tutorial, if you just try and follow what the other person does without practicing yourself, it can be quite frustrating. So I definitely suggest playing around, getting to know the brushes. But like, look at these thin lines, and you could just keep going. That's really cool. Also, I kind of wanted to try like a jagged kind of petal, maybe. So I just kind of pivot around. That kind of creates a really cool shape. And then you could always go in with your... It looks a little weird, like trying to get this leaf shape. I feel like that kind of shape is a little bit better, but the traditional light pressure, heavy pressure, light pressure doesn't necessarily work with this, but you could always use the tip to kind of draw back what shape you want. That's kind of cool. You could get some really cool shapes with this. Let's see what else. Let's grab another color. And then we're going to paint something with it. And we're not just watching me do this. Maybe use that tip and just kind of tap. I don't know. That's kind of cool. You can grab that green and just... That's pretty cool. Okay, I feel like we have an idea of some of these shapes that these brushes can make. Let me just try this really large one for a second. I don't know if I can use this one, but whoa, look how big that is. I think we can make something fun with these brushes. Okay, so let's turn the page and create something a bit abstract. Okay, so let's play around and paint something. I'm going to take the size 14. I can't remember if I told you. They come in size 20, 10, 14, and a size 4 in this set. And we're just going to try and paint something. Okay, so I actually kind of want to do some like fall-ish colors. Some of these are losing bristles, so I don't know if that's a quality thing or what. In the past, I've had brushes that lose bristles, and that was a quality issue, so I don't know if that's a reflection of these brushes, but just being transparent, letting you know. Okay, I'm going to try and do like a poppy. So I'm just going to place the tip down and just kind of pivot around. Really messily. Not well, not well. I didn't say I was an expert at this. But I feel like if I lift it off too much and try and drag it, that point is going to be weird. Yeah, I am losing some bristles. That's kind of annoying. I grab a little bit of red. Maybe. Just kind of tap around like this. I mean, it's a cool, fun shape. Just because also you don't know exactly what you're doing with it, you can get some more abstract kind of, or you're almost forced to just be creative, you know what I mean? And try something completely different. Okay, I'm going to get this like orangey color, and then I'm going to get the tip on yellow. Have this like dual color. That's kind of cool. Not great, but we're playing, okay? We're playing. No judgment here. Okay, let's do that other shape that I was doing before, where I was just tapping it. That was kind of cool. And I'm going to make it up with some cool leaf strokes, I think. Maybe, maybe not. Got a little bit of red in there. Got a little bit of dry brush at the edge. Now, I didn't say this was good, because it's definitely not, but this is how we learn. Okay. I'm going to do one more, let's get a smaller one, actually. Let's try this smaller brush. Just try different little strokes. Okay, and now I'm going to get some green. I'm going to grab this like undersea green. I'm going to kind of tap it in the bottom. Just because I like the way it looks when it's... These lines are insane, though, that you can make, and you don't have to keep going back in to dip. I'm impressed with that. Like, that's fun. Just want to make sure I get a nice saturated line. Like, that is quite a cool benefit. Okay, let's try and get some cool leaves to make up for this. Okay. I'll saturate it with this green, and I like that kind of leaf shape. I was like, look at that. That's a cool leaf shape. It's almost like they're folded leaves. And then you can always go back and kind of just draw the shape that you want. I really like this leaf shape that I got here. Look at that. That's really cool. I could just do like a whole stem of these kind of leaves. That's really cool. You could even just do some weird shapes. I don't know. Like little bits of foliage. Just kind of like, looks like they almost look like buds. Look at that. That's kind of cool. I like it. See, sometimes you just have to play with things that you're not familiar with, and it might frustrate the heck out of you and you'll want to give up. And I've definitely had that happen to me before. But sometimes it might surprise you. So I definitely recommend, like, if you're thinking about trying something different without, you know, looking at what other people are doing, just go for it. Okay. I'm gonna grab just a little bit more darkness. Just add some darker bits to some of these. Still the same green, the undersea green that I'm using. One of my favorite colors, like that. And then I do want to do something in the middle of these. I just want to make sure that they're dry first. So I'm going to let those dry quickly. Okay, now that they're dry, I'm going to do the centers of these. I'm going to grab some indigo. And I'm just going to tap in. Like, I don't need to go back in with my brush into the color, but I'm just so used to having to load it. Oh my gosh, look how fine this tip is. And it just keeps going. Oh my gosh. Like, I don't have to keep reloading it. It's almost like you're drawing with a marker because there's just so much ink in here. Like, that's pretty crazy. Look at that. Like, I would usually have to go back in and dip over and over and over again. That's awesome. And this fine point on this number 4, so tiny. I could see this being really great brushes for like doing some evergreen like pine needles, because I love doing those trees and they do take a long time, but you don't have to dip your brush back as often, which is really cool. I don't know, I kind of like this. I'm gonna do another little, just, it's kind of cool. Maybe a bit more yellow. Like that. You can kind of put it on its side and do these like bigger strokes. Why not? That gives a really fun stroke. And I think I'm gonna leave it there. But like, look how fun that is. Okay, I'm not mad at it at all. I think it's actually turned out really cool. More abstract than I tend to do, but I really love it. So let me know what you guys think. If you guys have seen these brushes at all and have been intrigued to get them, and what you think after my little painting and kind of mini review. Let me know in the comments below, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it and I hope you learned something. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel and follow me on all my other platforms for tons more content. Have a great day, guys. Bye.